I'm just going to quickly read this that kind of summarizes the project. So traditions contain within themselves latent opportunities to undermine the totalizing forces of globalization. That which is freely given over can be more valuable than that which is bought. Increasingly, everything we consume, from our shoes to our iPhone, from our salad to our car, can be seen as a polemical site that indexes labor practices in the developing world. Scrutinizing the immediacy of these objects in our everyday life reveals deeper relations between the object and its means of production, raising the unavoidable question of the other. We use traditional methods to produce 15,000 rosary beads. They're made from rose petals, and we fill this small exhibit room in the Gladstone Hotel. The beads themselves require 6 days of human labor to complete, and a rosary has 60 beads in total. We'll show you later how we made the actual beads. In trying to critique contemporary labor practices, the project reveals antagonisms between the appreciation of the cost of human labor and the willful or ignorant unquestioning of the means of production. In Rosary Beads, Christianity unfolded an infinite world of faith and doctrine. The rosary comes from the word rosarium, which meant rose garden. More than an object, it's a mnemonic device, a place where prayers, scriptures, and religion's legends are embedded in an object itself. And I guess our question with the project was trying to see if we can embed meaning into an object by embedding time and labor into it. So I guess the actual question is, can current design practices give over meaning to our material world? And we'll show you now how. Was that me? Oh, that's me. Okay, so we apply for Come to My Room. You apply before you actually have a project. So we just sent some of our previous projects, and this is Shane's and mine photographs. We also did our scene in Cora, the two be played together, so we sent that as well. And then, we were also working in the Nuit Blanche, can't remember, I think it was 2007, 2008. So we sent those pictures as well, and the building workshop we did at Grimstike. And then, we got chosen just based on that, actually, and a very kind of fuzzy abstract. And I guess the process is that they just kind of trust you can actually build something in the time they give you.
So. Generally, both of us are, with our thesis, I think, interested in issues about labor and about time. And while Virginia was in Venezuela this past summer, we were thinking about what is this object that we can use in our installation that we can blow up to embed the sort of the meanings and the issues that we're interested in. And Virginia came up with, she was searching actually for her mother for these homemade, traditionally made rosary beads, but she couldn't find them. And so that was a sort of kernel of inspiration for the object of our investigation. And so a few precedents here. Ai Weiwei, I think, is obviously, Ai Weiwei is a great precedent looking at issues of labor and time and tradition. In this triptych, he's dropping several thousand-year-old, I think it's a Ming dynasty vase, and the time of the image is the time of the destruction of this otherwise incredibly old artifact, old and precious artifact. And then another project of his is the the sunflower seed project, where he made some. I think they're actually measured by cubic tons. Some ungodly number of handmade porcelain sunflower seeds. Each of these is hand painted in order to display the urgency with which we should treat labor issues in China, because each of these is, it takes several minutes, obviously, at least, to create. And, the person who will have made these would have been probably paid pennies per day. And then with the background of these sunflower seeds, he filled I think it's the Tate Modern, yeah. And it's incredible to see the images of people relaxing and otherwise enjoying what is these very precious little, teardrops. And then another president is Michael Wesley, who does a lot of long exposure photography, just in being able to presence, the multiple times of life of a given object. And then lastly, Santiago Sierra it deals with labor relations and antagonistic art. And so, for instance, in this installation, he had migrant workers along the U.S. border digging the letters to the word soumission, which means submission, which was then planned to be filled with gasoline, not with him in it, and then set on fire as a sort of demonstration of antagonism. And he also has these works where he, for instance, pays unemployed veterans to stand in corners in art museums, while, and he doesn't really pay them well. He pays them what they would otherwise be making in a menial labor sort of job. And so then in that way, the relationship, or rather his contract with them is this sort of the site of the artwork, and then our relationship to this sort of sense of non-identification with them is really quite strong. Okay, and then why don't you talk about this?
These are how the roses start. We got a few florists in Toronto to donate their rose petals, the ones that they couldn't sell. They would save it for us for 2 weeks, and we picked it up every 2 weeks. And we cook it, and we cook it for 1 hour for 5 days, and it becomes this kind of paste that then we roll individually and let dry, and poke them before they dry. So this is just the kind of process, and they shrink a lot. They shrink about half their size, or maybe even a bit more. And we did a lot of tests, just trying to get them all the same, and then decided at the end that it was not worth it, and they were just gonna be what they were. So depending on the color of the petal and exactly how long we cook it, even in the winter, then they were drying faster, like they were drying before they shrunk, so they were a bit bigger, the ones we did when it was colder. And
then we had to come to a point once we actually made all of them. We had to decide how exactly are we going to install these things. We had always sort of envisioned it as a sort of tapestry or a sort of cloud, and obviously dealing with string is a tremendous pain in the ass. And I really advise anyone against ever working with string ever again. So we came up with the idea that we would have 5 concentric cylinders, each one open. And so then this is our, I sort of geeked out and had some fun making a grasshopper tool to make the drilling file for the for the CNC. And so you can see that we have determined, based on the size of the room and the amount of the size of the circle that we want to fill it with, we have up in the total, in the top left, like the total number of beads that we'll use, and then that's distributed into the machinery to turn out the different radiuses of the various concentric frames. And so this is the processing of it, and then it gets turned into points for drilling, and then a surface, which is the frame, and then the profiles of the frame. And we made a lot of dust. And so then the frame was it came out pretty well. I was happy. Because it was quite large. The largest one was 2.4 meters in diameter. So it had to be done in pieces, and so there's 2 frames. A shorter one supports it, and then it has this nice reveal, giving it a sort of sense of floating. And then each of the holes drilled to receive the string that would hold the beads. It's so much nicer than doing it by hand.
And I guess we had 4 days for installing it. 4 days. So we finished assembling the rings inside the room, and kind of shift them around to inside the actual room, painting them. It was a real pain to hang them because we had to drill the holes, trying to kind of then cover them a bit because they were pretty obvious. And then we just started stringing from the inside out because we couldn't really access the inside circle. And we would do 5 at a time and just tie it at the top. It's a lot of going up and down this ladder. And then when that was ready, we actually clamped them. We had these jewelry crimps, and clamped them in place. Some of them actually started getting stuck in the thread as they went, as we pull it. So, and we kind of like it. So it wasn't on the plan. We tried to maintain this datum in the middle of the circle. We were hoping people would go around and touch it more than what they actually did. I think it looked more delicate than what it actually was. But some people did touch it, which was nice. One interesting thing with the Come Up to My Room is that the artists are actually in the room for the 4 days of the exhibitions. So people get to ask questions, which is I think it's a nice model. It's annoying when you're the one that has to be there for 4 days, but it's we got, a lot of questions. A lot of people liked it, I think. And it was a different impression when they got into the room and saw it, and when they read the text and understood that each of these beads was handmade and made out of roses and whatnot. I think the installation took a completely different meaning for them. So these are just images of the room. Those were the panels that we had. And then we cut it up and took it down. And it's in my parents' basement right now. So yeah, I think that's it.